Okay, no problem,
So
sir. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening.
Sir, so today we'll continue from our LSA codes, chapter 4, and we'll be talking more extensively about the lifeboats. So, like I've been instructed, we don't need to read, we just need to give a summary and the experiences I had. So, for me, I would like to drop a picture of one of the things that are very, very important to the construction of the lifeboats, which is a plate. Talking about a plate that has the carriage capacity, and it is approved by the construction company of the lifeboats. So all lifeboats shall be properly constructed, and the lifeboat should be able to withstand the carriage capacity that has been designed for that boat. For example, for the kind of lifeboat I have on my ship, it's not a free fall, it's a David launch, and that's the carriage capacity of 32 persons. So we should not exceed this number of people. Should not even try to carry 33. So we should strictly follow the construction instructions. Now, lifeboats should be constructed with full specification of SOLAS convention. Any form of lifeboats we'll be having on our ship should be in fully accordance of the SOLAS convention. Lifeboats should be safely launched, even with the free fall. No matter the kind of lifeboat we are, whether the free fall lifeboats or the David launch, should be safely launched by persons on board. We should not face difficulty launching a lifeboat. That's why we need the essence of our drills. When we are conversant with our drills and we carry out our duties, our responsibilities during these drills, we should be able to launch a lifeboat at any point in time, either whenever we have emergency or successive drills. We should not have any kind of difficulty. Every person with their responsibility should be able to give their responsibility out, discharge their responsibility at the smallest time they have. And except for free fall lifeboats, each lifeboat shall be able to withstand load, except for free fall. And why they said except for free fall, I believe is because when we launch free fall lifeboats into the water, it first goes directly into the water to a length. It goes directly into the water before it comes out again and stay. But this is not the same as David launch. David launch should just be launched and stay on top of the water. Should not even go down, just like the free fall. So every lifeboat should, except for the free fall, should be able to withstand load. Now the carriage capacity, like I said earlier, should not be exceeded. Now the sitting arrangement, let's talk about sitting arrangement. Sitting arrangement of a lifeboat should be followed orderly. Now when we enter a lifeboat, we already see that it has been designed in such a way that everybody to their own seat. Now when the lifeboat capacity is showing 30 persons, the sitting arrangement in the lifeboat will also make provision for 32 seats with seat belts, straps, for everything that we need. So the sitting arrangement should be followed orderly. So it is not a thing of we get to the level and say this one on my seat, this one on my seat. Everybody should just go orderly and just pick one seat and sit with proper balancing of the boat. Because I remember there was a time we were doing drills and 6 people were asked to go inside the boat. We discovered that when we entered at first, 4 was on the port side and just 2 people were on the starboard side. So it was the helmsman, which was the second officer. I was not like, no, we have to balance the boat. Let's make it 3 on each side. 3 on starboard side, 3 on port side. And that was how we got the stability of the boat. So we should do that orderly. Now, access into the lifeboats and rapid disembarkation shall be possible and safe as practicable. That is one of the things I jotted down. I said access into the lifeboats and rapid disembarkation shall be possible and safe as practicable. The access into the lifeboat, that is the opening, or let me say, yes, the opening to the lifeboats should be safe, whether at the embarkation level or when it is lowered inside the water. You should be able to do that at minimum of 2 minutes or let me say maximum of 2 minutes, both the entry and the disembarkation. So I also jotted here, I said, we're talking about the buoyancy. A lifeboat should be designed to withstand seawater, oil products, fire, and sufficient float. We shouldn't attach any buoyant material to the hull of the boat. It is not allowed to attach any form of, what's it called? Buoyancy material or buoyant material to the hull of the boat. Maybe we notice that our boat is that kind of damaged and is not gaining that buoyancy state. We should not even try to attach anything. When it's not in the right stability sense, we should just know that, oh, this our lifeboat is not good. And we should make use of the other one. Because definitely for, aside from vessels that are designed with free fall, other kind of vessels that are designed with David always have 2 lifeboats on the port and the starboard. So no buoyant material should be attached to a lifeboat. Now, I'll go to lifeboat propulsion. Every lifeboat has been designed with 2 kind of propulsion system. That is the engine. Yeah, the engine is definitely the propulsion system. Then we have the manual too, which is the paddle. The paddle. So when we had this one drill at the time, I asked my second officer a question. I said, sir, with this kind of covering and the design of the lifeboat, how do we use the paddle? Because I believe when it's an open boat, like a normal open boat, maybe some other kind of rescue boats, that's when we can easily make use of the paddle. But with this kind of big lifeboats and coverings everywhere, how do we make use of the paddle? So I got to understand that it is not at the initial stage of the launching. So that is why our engine, the engine of the lifeboat, needs to be working at every point in time. Well, on the shift that I've worked, every Saturday, I used to remember, our third engineer used to do servicing on this lifeboat engine. They will check for the oil, check for the water, do everything. This is just a routine, a proper thing to do every weekend like that. So at the initial launching of the lifeboat, our engine should be able to move the boats away from our ship, our vessel. So our engine should be sound and should be working properly. So when we now get to maybe help did not come, we have been at the water for a while and help did not come, then we are out of probably the fuel for the engine, then we can now start using our part or any other place. So that is for the propulsion. Then we'll go to lifeboat fittings. Now, this fittings is talking about the drain valves, the sprinkler system, everything that is attached to the boat, that is designed with the boat for a convenience. Now, I will talk about sprinkler. Sprinkler system helps to contain the heat inside the boat. Helps to contain the heat inside the boat. And the drain valve, maybe for adventure we had some amount of water inside the boat, probably during launching or at any point in time. So we can release this water out of the boat with this use of our drain valve. And lifeboat should be provided with rudder and tiller. As we all know, our rudder is for the movement of the boat, port and starboard, heading port and starboard movement. Then our tiller is this device, let me use device that is used to control the boat, just like we have on our bridge, we have just like the steering tool. So it should be able to take the boat port and starboard, or the free movement of the boat. So I want to draw attention to 4.4.7.3. Except in the vicinity of the rudder and propeller, suitable hand holds shall be provided, or a buoyant lifeline shall be decked around the outside of the lifeboat, above the waterline and within reach of a person in the water. I'll read that again. Except in the vicinity of the rudder and propeller, suitable hand holds. Now, it's already the first statement they said, except in the vicinity of the rudder and propeller. So suitable handles shall be provided, or a buoyant lifeline shall be picketted around the outside of the lifeboat, above the waterline and within the reach of a person in the water. So what they are trying to say here is there is always, just like we have grab lines, yes, grab lines on the our boys too. So same as the lifeboat, we also have lines around our lifeboats that, for example, we need to get someone out of the water. The person can actually grab this line and use to access entering inside the boat. So I want to go again. I'll move forward to 4.4.7.7. Every lifeboat shall be fitted with a device to secure a painter near its bow. Every lifeboat shall be fitted with a device to secure a painter near its bow. That's like a beat. It's like a beat. So a lifeboat shall be designed in such a way that there should be something like a beat at the front, at the bow of the lifeboat to secure a painter. Like we all know, before the movement of or launching of the boat, we should secure our painter to a strong point on our ship. So where do we secure this painter on the lifeboat? That's where this paragraph is trying to let us know here. Then every lifeboat which is fitted with a fixed weight we should have the radio. That's one of the things we should pick when embarkation or when entering into our lifeboat. We all know we need to get some pyrotechnics and communication system as we are going into our lifeboat. So these are just outlining the requirements or things we need to go with us while entering the lifeboat. Now we also look at lifeboat equipment. Now these are things that should be in the lifeboat. It's a must. We should all have them inside the lifeboat. So I think we should be familiar with these things because it's a long list. It's a long list. So we should all make sure that at every point in time, all these things should be available in the lifeboat. We should not miss out on one, because when inspectors comes and they're about to check all these things, and they find out that some of them are missing, will be noted down of non-conformity, and it is not good for us. So I'll move forward to lifeboat markings. Lifeboat markings, and now this is talking about the markings that should be on board the lifeboat, on the lifeboat itself, that's on the hull. So now this marking involves the IMO number of the ship, the name of the ship, the carriage capacity of the lifeboat, the port of registry of the ship itself. So all these things should be properly written on the lifeboat, clearly written on the lifeboat with another color different from. We all know the color of the lifeboat should be orange or red, or orange or signal red, something like that. But universally, it has been orange. So the other color we need to paint all these markings to be white, very visible for anybody to see. So now let's talk about partially enclosed lifeboats. So I hope I'm not too fast. Hello, sir.
Yeah, you're not too fast. I'm with you. Captain Oliver, are you there as well? Maybe it's the network. Yeah, but you're not too fast. Continue. Thanks for your summary.
Oh, okay, sir. So now, talking about partially enclosed lifeboats. Now, partially enclosed lifeboats shall comply with the requirements of section 4.4, which we already treated earlier. So it's also talking about every requirement of a general lifeboat. Now, difference between these partially enclosed and full lifeboats are not too much like that. Are not too much, but we just know that there are some kind of boats that are designed not totally enclosed. So when we see those kind of lifeboats, we should not say probably we are just getting to see them, or we are just getting used to them. We just say, this one is one of the requirements, or one is not the kind of lifeboats that I've always seen on ships It's still the same thing. So it should be easily erected by one or more than two persons. Partially enclosed lifeboat should be easily erected by one or more than two persons. So, and it should be provided with adequate rigid sections or buttons to permit erection of the canopy. So that is, the canopy now is just like a form of shed on the lifeboat itself. So, you know, we cannot just, because it is partially enclosed, that means there is opening at the top. So we cannot just leave it to the case we have a harsh weather condition like the sun or direct sunlight. So that is why we have a canopy designed with partially enclosed lifeboats. Now we also have totally enclosed lifeboats, which is the one that we basically used to see on most of our vessels. So those are the two basic type of lifeboats, partially enclosed and totally enclosed. Now we should talk about capsizing and rewriting. Capsizing and rewriting of the boat. Now, except a 4.4 lifeboat, safety belts shall be fitted at each indicated sitting position, like we said earlier. When you get access, when you gain access into a lifeboat, you see belts and straps where we are assigned to every seat. So when you are seated, you are advised to use these belts because there are times that we will need to enter our lifeboat before it is launched, which is because we tried this one of our drills. We entered and we launched. So should in case there's a hook that is attached to the bow and stern of our boat, we never can tell. These are devices that can develop fault at any point in time. That's why we need to check on them regularly. But should in case, probably during launching, the hook just open with force, and you know, because of the number of people that are inside the boat, there is this direct force and launching inside the water. So with this belt now, we will not jump out of our seat or hit our head on the all of the boat. So these belts now should be fitted and should be properly used while entering inside the boat. Now, this paragraph talks about capsizing. So when the boat is capsized, we should not panic. As far as we have our belt on us, we should not panic because a lifeboat is designed in such a way that it will definitely come back to its normal position. Probably at the initial launch, a lifeboat definitely come back to its initial position or the way it's meant to be. So with our belt strapped, we should not panic or have this fear that, oh, maybe this is the way the boat is going to be for a very long time. No, we should not have. The lifeboat has been designed. That is that's the kind of design. Then the engine of the lifeboat, the design of all engine, exhaust pipes, air ducts, and other openings shall be such that water is excluded from the engine when lifeboats capsize and right. Now, the way they have designed the exhaust pipe and the air ducts, they have not designed it in a way that water can just from there destroy or get into the exhaust pipe. So these are the designs. This is still talking about the construction of the lifeboat. Now, propulsion system. I believe we talked about earlier on propulsion system. This is talking about the engine and the transmission controlled by the S-man, just like the normal vessel. So the propulsion system should be checked too. While doing the maintenance check, weekly maintenance check, should be in proper and good working condition. Now, protection against acceleration. We all know that every lifeboat has the normal speed it can run. Every lifeboat has been designed. It is not like our normal, should I say, speedboats. Yes, it's not like our normal speedboat that we see all these brothers outside there that whenever they are inside their boat, the fire engine and will just go like that. The lifeboat has not been designed in that way because of the kind of emergency it is designed for. It is not designed to be like a speedboat. So at least it should make a velocity of 3.5 meters per second, at least. So if your lifeboat is not in accordance with this regulation, that means we need to look at our engines, and look at the system and look at what's wrong with it and what has gone wrong or what is not right about the engine. Now, 4.4 lifeboats. 4.4 lifeboats, like we all know, are always designed at the aft side. I think behind the funnel of every vessel that is designed with 4.4, it's always at the aft side. So there is also a way that is being launched different from the David now. So there is a lever that is always inside the boat that you can use to launch the boat. So all these things, we should get used to all of them so that when we find ourselves on a vessel that is designed with 4.4 lifeboats, with our drills and familiarization, we should know how to make use of them, and we should know how to properly take care of them. Because, to be honest, me, if I'm being assigned to work on a ship that is having 4.4, I might think twice about them because I am this kind of person that I love my life a lot, and I believe I cannot take that risk of entering a 4.4 lifeboat too. But it's safe, actually. It's very, very safe.
Mark, why are you doing this? I will tell you a story of my experience with 4.4 lifeboat when you finish it.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Right. But it's actually safe. That's just bottom line. It's very, very safe. It is very, very safe. I'm just joking about that. So now I want us to look at the performance requirements. Now, performance requirements is talking about the full complement of the persons. We talked about the capacity. Talk about the capacity. Occupants so as to cause the center of gravity to be in most forward position. That's our sitting arrangement too. So we have to, like I said earlier, if we know that okay, sitting capacity is 32, and we know we are not up to 32, we are like 16. So we should sit in such a way that it will give the boat a balance. 8 on the port side, 8 on the starboard side, so that we will not be having a listing in the boat. Now, occupants so as to cause the center of gravity to be in the most aft station. Aft position rather. Now, just like our normal, we that work on our tankers, we know the way we load our tanks. We know the way we load our tanks. So we should not sit in an arrangement that it will give the vessel to boat rather. It will not give the boat a kind of condition that is not safe for the boat. I believe we understand what I'm trying to say by that. We should not sit in the kind of position that it will not give a balanced condition of the boat. We should do it properly. So with our drills, I believe this will be discussed further or to the simplest form, so that we know that okay, the capacity is 32, we are 16, we have to sit. That means 8, 8, 8. So we know how to sit with this, and then it's operating crew only. Now, when we are talking about the operating crew, I believe 2 major people are important here, which is the helmsman and the person taking care of the engine. Now, we should not, because we are in the boat and we believe, maybe we have some ABs in the boat now. Them permit me to use that word. We have some ABs in the boat, and they'll be like, second officer did there. Second officer do this thing. We all know that this is the requirement. We should just allow the helmsman do the work without fear or panic, because he has been trained. Everybody on the vessel has been trained. That is why we always have our PSCRB. We all are supposed to have undergone that training. So that is why we all have our documents are very, very important. Our trainings are very, very important. So when we have attained that document, we should be able to steer the boat. Now we'll go to construction. Like we've said earlier too, the construction of the boat is very, very important. The things that are designed in the boat, we should make sure we keep them safe, and the ones that and then I want to talk about maintenance of the boat as well. because as I was talking about construction, I remember something. We need to talk about the maintenance of the boats. Now, if we don't take care, just like our normal cabins, if we don't take care of these boats, it will not be safe or conducive for us as well. Imagine a boat that has been locked for months, several months without cleaning, and the day we will need, the emergency will come, I will need to enter this boat for usage. It will not be safe for us. Even if we open all the openings, because every boat used to have 3 openings. There's one at the aft, that's the stern. There's one at the top side, where the helmsman is always seated. And there's one that we use as the access into the boat. So even if we open this thing and the inside is not properly kept, it will still not be comfortable. So we need to take care of our boat. That's why I've always give kudos to my third officers. So they're always cleaning their boats, and it's always looking nice. That even if the inspector comes, the first when they enter the boat and they see that everywhere is clean, some even will even assume, if the boat is as clean as this, definitely you buy whenever you clean, then definitely you will have checked on the other things that are supposed to be there, the seasickness tablets, the food ration, the water, everything. That means you are already checking. So you can't just come to the boat clean and just go like that. So it's a good thing. Proper hygiene of this boat too. Cleanliness of this boat is very important. Now, certificate of approval. These are talking about the certificates that are meant that we are meant to carry on board that is relating to the boat. These are talking about certificates that are meant to carry on board that is relating to the boat. Now, one of them is 4.4 certificate height, certification height, required launching ramp length, and number 3, launching ramp angle for 4.4 certification height. These 3 certificates are very important for the boat, which is carried on board. So, okay, lifeboats with a self-contained air support system. Yes, I remember during one of our drills, there is self-contained air support system that has been designed with our own boats. So I remember I was asking question on the gas that, what if this gas finish? What will happen? They said that is when you now open the whole hatch covers that has been designed with the boat. But this air support system is for us to at least get away from the vessel. Probably the vessel is on fire and we have been advised to abandon the vessel. We will not just enter our boat and open all these openings down. So we still need some distances away from the ship. So this air support system should be properly checked as well too, while the engineers are checking on their weekly routines. They should also check these things because they have to be in order. We cannot be inside a boat that's choking us. We will not even survive. That means the emergency we are running for, we are still going to meet that same thing that will bring us down inside the boat. So we should make sure we properly keep our boats in order. Okay, I believe, okay, I'll just take the last one. Fire protected lifeboats. Fire protected lifeboats. In addition to the complying with the requirement of section 4.8, the 4.4 lifeboats, when waterborne, shall be capable of protecting the number of persons. Okay, now the materials used in design in constructing our lifeboats is such a way that it cannot be damaged by fire. It cannot be damaged. It's fire resistant. It's fire resistant. Now, when we have a cause of fire.
Quick one. Yes, there is a time limit. It's not like it cannot be damaged. There's a time limit. So for 8 minutes, you should be able to.
For 8 minutes, yes. It's stated there at last paragraph.
The air support system you mentioned earlier, there's also a time limit. The air should not be less than 10 minutes. Okay, so that it gives you access. Why does that all those time? What do you think the time is there for?
Yes, like I said earlier, is for us to get away from the emergency position.
Absolutely. Very good.
So that is it. So there's a time limit. There's a time limit for every of the air support system, the fire protected lifeboat, that's the design, the construction of the boat itself. There's a time limit to them. So that's why we need to act fast on anything we are doing. As we launch and we are taking our boat, we need to do everything fast. So our drills will help us very well on this. Now the water spray system. This is, like I said earlier, has been designed on the rooftop. Let me use that word. The rooftop of the boat. So these are all the construction of the lifeboat, and that is why it is called a lifeboat, but because it is meant to save our life. That's why Solars has come together to say, okay, there should be a boat on the vessel. That's whenever there's emergency, we need to use it to get out of the emergency position or location to keep ourselves safe before we get further assistance. So thank you very much, sir. I believe I've done a little, and I will need your contribution to all our sector.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And does anybody have any questions for Mark today? Anybody with, yes, Master Marina, go ahead.
I have.
Anita also. Okay, let's start with Anita since you've unmuted yourself. Go ahead.
Okay. He was talking about the number of persons for the David lifeboat. I wanted to ask, in which of the lists makes it compliable, like to get the number of persons that should be in the lifeboat, the survival craft, sorry to say. For instance, the David.
Okay, so
okay, your question is what again?
Which of the lists, where can you, let's say, there's a list that actually requires you to know your sitting position in the lifeboat.
Oh, okay.
Because, yes, or the rest survival craft. Where do we get that from?
Yes, I believe it should be from the master list.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right. Master Marina, what's your question?
Okay. Good evening, Captain. My question is, he said every boat that has lifeboat, but I noticed that most of these are offshore vessels, like the anchor handling and yes, what they usually have is either FRC or life raft. But it should be a very big boat that will have a lifeboat. Like the current vessel I'm on board now has 8 lifeboats because it's an accommodation badge and a big vessel. And also the positioning is said for the 3 openings. It's not necessary that you have one at the back because on my vessel now we have 2 by the side and 1 at the top. So the position is said about the stuff. I'm just kind of throwing a little light to it.
Okay, yes, thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate it. Yes, I speak based on my experiences and what I've seen on the boats or the vessels I've worked on. So, like I said, there are requirements. Like on cruise vessels, we have with their number of boats a cruise vessel should carry. On tanker vessels, there are number of lifeboats tanker vessels should carry. So that's, I appreciate your contribution. So yes, very well. There is capacity or arrangement that has been made by the Solars for every kind of vessel to carry this particular number of boats. So thank you very much for your contribution, sir. I really appreciate it. Yes, hello, sir.
Oh, sorry, I think I mute myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so yes, thanks for this. However, Captain Oliver gave us an assignment last class, and this is for all of us. Abigail, I believe you're there. Anita, you're there as well. That what is the criteria for vessels to have lifeboats or not to have lifeboats? Some of them have, like you said, some have life raft and rescue boats. Some have lifeboats. So where do you get this criteria? Where do you know? Is it just ship owners that say, okay, I don't want lifeboats, or some will say I want and all that? So where do you get this information from? Can anybody answer this question in the house today?
Yeah, sir, I believe I have an idea. Should be from our last manual. Not shipowners cannot decide if they want lifeboat on their vessel or not. Having lifeboats is a conventional thing. So,
Okay.
and it's a requirement.
Okay, that's a good try. Anybody else? Anita, do you have an answer to that?
For me, it's from SOLAS convention, and
Okay.
then it has to do with the gross ton of the vessel.
Okay, so you've
Gross
added,
tonnage.
so you have SOLAS convention, but which of SOLAS convention? Nobody's saying that. You've added gross tonnage. Okay, let's see what else we can add to this. We are building up something, eh? And for those that are, okay, I just need to mark it there. For those that know me, I believe the more senses we apply in something, the better. When I mean sense, I mean sense of reading, touch, feeling, saying it, something, saying it, all the senses we have, the more we apply, the better we have. So questions are answers. I want us to go and find out because different vessels have different things. Yes, the ship owners don't make a decision. They are this, but I really want us to say at this point, this particular conversion, this particular publication, this particular thing is where it comes from. And if you, and I'm just, okay, yeah, that's fine. Mark, thanks a lot. Thanks. I appreciate that. But just before you go, I want to ask, well, it's not a question really. Before you read these things, before you went through this manual, what was, or after you read it now, can you compare your knowledge on this topic before you read it and now? Which is better? Sorry, I mute you, so you need to unmute yourself to answer. You feel more confident after reading?
Yes, that's correct, sir. That's correct, sir. After reading through, I gained more confidence and I learned few things in addition to what I used to know.
Yes. Okay, so thanks a lot, Mark. Thanks. You go for your relief. I appreciate that. So the message here is this, guys. These readings you're doing is not for either myself or Captain Busai or Captain Oliver, not even for your ship owners or your captain. It's all for all of us. And it's community knowledge. Let's get better. While you're on anchorage or you're on standby, just open these books and read it. You'll be surprised what you will learn from it. So yes, good from Mark today. I really appreciate it. And you know that it didn't cover everything. The more you read, you realize that, okay, all right, okay, that's there. And that's really those things that dot our I's and cross our T's are the things I'm really happy for. Those are the things that, if it was love, that I would say, anyway. So let me go into that. So thanks a lot for everybody that attended today. Next week, we're having Anita. Master Marina, do you want to say something? Just unmute yourself if you want to say anything. Your hands are up, or you just want to lower it.
Okay, sir. In addition to reading the materials, we should not just read and drop the book. We should read and put it to practice. Because at first, when I came on board here, I was like, it's life books. I thought it was just a normal thing that I learned in school, like life books. Simple, you enter, you have drinking water, ration, and when my second officer asked me a question, like, do you know how many items in a lifeboat? I said, no more than 5. The radar, the reflector, he laughed and said, if he doesn't know anything, there should be up to 62 items. I was like, 62K. He said, okay. So he just gave me the job and said, I should clean all the lifeboats. He gave me a checklist and said, I should go through the checklist. When I went through, I was very surprised because I didn't know that I'll have to have TPA, thermal protective aid inside there, rations of food, the tiller. When I was like, what's the tiller again now? Which one's the tiller? I thought it was this something used to put on this lister chain. When I came back to him, I asked him, he said, okay, the tiller serves as the radar and the rudder. And then he gave me the book, said, go and read. When reading the book and doing the job, I noticed that my knowledge on the life was expanded a lot because seriously, something we underrate. If they give it, if they open your eyes to it. So in addition to the reading, we should try and put it to use also. Enter the life book and see what's up there. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for the contribution. That's all we are saying as well. That's what we are here for, to encourage people to be leaders. I believe readers are lovers. Oh, sorry, readers are leaders. Okay. All right. So have a nice evening, guys. I said I was going to tell you my lifeboat, my 4.4 lifeboat story. I worked with the 4.4 lifeboat when I was on the gas carrier as a law. And at the time, we were supposed to do a drill and launch it. Now, I think they launch it, before they used to launch it once in 6 months. I think it's once in a year now. And I just got married at the time. So I told the captain, I'm not entering that thing, man. He said, why? I said, I just got married. I'm not entering. And he was just laughing. Looking back now, like, I should have done it. But, I'm not that adventurous when it comes to all those things. So, yeah, the guys that went had and they had fun, blah, blah, blah. I had a recording, but I said, no, I'm not doing that. But anyway, so that's my own 4.4 lifeboat story. And, and that's it. But lovely, interesting, and when few things as well. Going in your seat position, don't go with sharp objects because it might fall on someone's head and all those bits and bobs. But that's there. But I really want us to understand the foundation, and that's why we're doing the LSA. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate you for coming. Thanks, Anita. Thanks, Abigail. Mark, thank you. Master Marina and Captain Hansen. Thanks to you too.